it becomes very obvious that they were already building to prevent and overcome a future cataclysm, which is already 800 years into the future.
Another tale from the time when humanity was preparing for cataclysm comes from the Hopi in northern Arizona in the western United States. Alternative researchers have long speculated that the legendary ant people were likely a group of beings that had all intentions of helping humanity. The depictions of the ant people add a deeper mystery to their connection with the legendary myths from around the planet, where a group of sages or wise ones helped humanity through the dark times.
The Hopi talk about a series of worlds. The first world was destroyed by fire. The second world was destroyed by ice. In both of these situations, they followed a mysterious cloud during the day and a moving star at night until they were led to their chief god, who introduced them to the ant people.
The ant people then take the Hopi into underground caverns and teach them how to grow beans, how to survive through these cataclysms, and then ultimately they're led out of the underground world into the surface world once again. When you look at this, you think, well, who are these ant people? Do they literally look like ants? There's no suggestion of that. In fact, in descriptions or depictions of them in rock art, they're portrayed more like Egyptian high priests. And you ask, well, who could these high priests possibly be? Might possibly have been the Atlanteans, the survivors that are teaching the Hopi how to enter into a period of stasis to survive these cataclysms? Or if not, who were the ant people?
How many of the great flood stories are prefaced by some favored individual being pre-informed of the impending event over and over again? Well, then that raises the question of, well, who would that have been? If, I look at the myths, and one of the most widespread myths from all of these cultures is the myth of the Great Flood. Well, my geological research tells me that the Great Floods were real. Now, if we go from the thought that behind many of these myths of gigantic floods are very real events, then what is the potential real reality behind the stories of the gods that all of these ancient cultures have? Now, what happens there is most people immediately want to go to aliens. And I'm not dismissing the idea of aliens, but instead of immediately jumping to aliens, let us consider the possibility that you might have had in ancient times cultures existing side by side that were on the one hand primitive, but on the other hand, very sophisticated and advanced. This advanced culture now knows that something's about to happen. So it's basically trying to disseminate that knowledge and that information to as many people as possible. Hey, there's going to be something coming. There's going to be a gigantic flood. Why don't you consider building a big boat, maybe out of reeds, or going underground with the ant people, or whatever the case may be. Because over and over and over again, we find that theme replicated in these ancient stories. So I think just like now we can consider the great floods were real, historically real, then who were these gods? It may have been us.